finding the correct path. We have many questions about this every day, so we're going to cover some of that today. Oh, we are not doing well today. Okay. Hold on. You can start it anyway, right?
I think so.
There you go. Welcome to Enchanted Moments Podcast. I'm Monica. This is Spencer. We're going to talk today about finding the correct path. I think about every day we get multiple questions about how do I know I'm on my right path? How do I know what the right path is? How do I get there? It's a big question. However, it's a pretty simple answer. If you're on a path, it's the correct one for you now. That's the way it works. You're always going to be on the right path. How you get to the end is either a nice smooth ride down the middle, or we tack, but we eventually get back to the same place anyway. So it's a pretty safe bet that wherever you are, you're supposed to be. You can change your path. There's no one path for you for your whole lifetime. I started out being raised Catholic. After that, I decided to be in the Methodist Church, which I did for quite a while, and then I found New Thought Unity. And one day I woke up and I thought, I don't need anything else except, just deal direct with divine energy, and it's worked for me ever since. So you don't have to stay with one path. Whatever you learn on that path is what you're supposed to take to the next step of your development. So it's really hard to get it wrong.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't feel like that though.
I know it doesn't. And I can say that when you're sailing down the middle of that river, you're going to feel like you're in the flow, which is a lovely place to be. Mm-hmm. When you start bumping into things and being shoved back and forth, we know that's we're making it harder on ourselves than we need to.
Yeah.
So and we all do it. Every single one of us. If anybody tells you they have never changed their mind or found something new in their lifetime, they are lying, because you cannot live more than a few years and not have thoughts.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to question everything. And some things are going to be relevant to you one day and they won't resonate the next. So we just allow ourselves the freedom to explore all paths.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I realized how many paths there were till I took comparative religions in college. Holy Lord, I didn't even know some of these names. Anyway, there are a bazillion ways to get to the end result, and every single one of them ends up in the same place. Doesn't matter how you get there. Honestly doesn't. And regardless of what very strict religious following tells you, no. You do not have to be one thing to get to the end. It's just not that way. Everybody we've talked to on the other side, doesn't matter how you get there, just that you get there.
Mm-hmm.
And of course it's a much easier time if we're kind and caring and loving and treat people correctly, and but yeah, everybody gets to the end result. It's just how many times do you want to fix it afterwards? That's kind of the way it works. We're all hoping we're on our last trip around. Anyway,
Yeah.
we don't know that. So regardless of what anybody might have told you, until you get there, you're not going to know. But paths, whatever makes you comfortable, feel connected spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
I know that ritual is helpful to people to connect spiritually.
Can you define spirituality outside of Christianity, outside of what most people probably taught, religion? What is spirituality without religion?
They're not the same.
Right.
You can be a very spiritual person and be in a religion.
Yeah.
They're not one can happen with the other.
Right.
But you don't have to belong to a religion to be spiritual. Spirituality is your connection to divine energy, how you feel with spirit. So angels, guides, divine energy, it's your way of connecting. That's basically spirituality.
Okay.
But you can connect through being in a religion.
Mm-hmm.
I especially love in Christianity the monks and the nuns and the cloisters where they're praying perpetually, and of course they're connected. That is their spirit. That's their daily spirit. So I think it gets a little harder when we're out in the world and we're not kept from any kind of influences. That makes it harder to stay connected. But we know when we're connected, we know when we're not. It's really an uncomfortable feeling when we're not connected spiritually. People feel very alone, even when they're with people. You don't have the same sense of self when you're not connected spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make you a better person. It can, but there's no judgment.
Yeah.
If you choose to be in a Christian faith, more power to you. If you choose to be, if you were born, say, Jewish, great, you'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
Your whole faith practice, whatever, will get you to the end of that path. Any religion, it doesn't matter. I think some tend to have better guidelines. So say Hindu, their principle of ahimsa is harmlessness, which is funny because in Wicca it's do no harm. So they're all connected in some way, bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
Be
kind, do no harm.
Right. The whole love your neighbor as yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You do that, you don't have to worry about cheating on them, stealing from them.
Yeah.
It's like all the rest are extra. They, they're just not important if you're doing the basics. According to Spirit, we are here to love, be loved, and experience joy. So you have to wonder, when we're not feeling those things, then does that mean we're not connected? Does that mean our spiritual connection to divine energy is not where it should be? I think it should make you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure there's a true cause and effect.
Yeah.
I just think it's a hint.
So for people that may have bucked the idea of traditional religion, what is a good way to start trying to be spiritual? If,
Yeah, I think the best thing for anybody in any kind of religious or spiritual practice is to meditate every day. It's my little mantra. You can't really get the information and feel the closeness without that.
Mm-hmm.
Mindfulness works too for people, just as long as you're narrowing down the noise to one noise at a time. Or if you can meditate, but it doesn't have to be hours of meditation. 10 to 15 minutes of meditation a day, of quieting the mind and allowing for that spiritual connection to take place. That's all you need. But I really believe it's an affirmation that has to be applied to every movement, spiritual, religious. You need to make that quiet moment of connection. And daily is the best way.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an active practice, so you don't have to go at it like exercise.
Yeah.
It's a receiving and allowing practice.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a matter of sitting still and breathing, just following your breath for a few minutes, and it really will take you to a quieter place. If you really, really, really can't make that happen after trying, then do something mindful.
Mm-hmm.
You can walk take your daily walk, and instead of looking around and bird, squirrel, you just go 1, 2, 1, 2 as your feet hit the ground, or left, right, whatever works for you, and just keep it in that cadence, because that's narrowing down your actual thought to one thought at a time. French have done a study that coloring is a very good mindful exercise, because you pick one color at a time and you're filling in something with that particular one color.
Yeah.
So that's narrowing down your thought process to one thing. Walking through the house. I'm walking through the house. I'm going to the sink. I'm turning on the water. If you break down all your actions into one action at a time, you're doing the same thing. You're creating a mindful experience because you're narrowing down that thought process to one thing at a time. Makes it easier.
Yeah. And it's interesting compared to our like multitasking.
Yeah.
It feels like we're built to try to do at least.
Yeah, well, back on our resumes in the old days, multitasking was a really big deal.
Yeah.
Now they're saying it's mentally distasteful. You should never do it. It hurts your mind and it creates problems for thinking. And now you're going, well, too late for that. We've been multitasking for a long time. Yeah, the quietness is your higher self creating the space for divine to communicate with you. It only takes a fraction of a second for your higher self to receive anything it needs to know. The problem is then getting it into your conscious mind, which we try to do through writing. You just buy really cheap stack of notebooks and just move your hand across a page for about 15 minutes, and whatever comes to you, just a word will come or whatever, that's enough.
So when I'm doing this, when you say a word will come, like I will write a word or I will think of a word?
You will write the word.
Okay.
It'll be a thought, but you'll write it. And automatic writing is just a way to mindlessly dump what's in your higher consciousness into your conscious mind. And sometimes you get one, sometimes you get none, sometimes you'll get several, but we keep track of those words because, over a period of time, then you can weave those together, and that may be what you need to know. But you'll get guidance. You won't realize that it's guidance, but you'll feel a certain way during the day, and you may take a left turn instead of a right. You may pick up a book that you didn't plan on picking up. Things will come to you that you don't realize. And that's the information coming through. It doesn't have to be an atomic bomb going off. I now wrote a book about my messages. No.
Yeah.
You might, but, most people just accept what comes their way, and that is really pretty much allowing that information to help guide your life. It's easier than you think. It's supposed to be anyway. We make it really hard.
We think a lot.
We think a lot, and we overthink a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people come in here for readings and you just go, oh my goodness, stop overthinking. It's great to make lists. This is the pros, these are the cons. Okay, and that's wonderful because we need that. Especially if you're making a big decision. But then what I tell people to do is make the decision this way, and then see what your heart feels, because that's the center of your being, your heart center. You have to blend your brain with your heart. So if that doesn't feel good to you, and then this decision to say, I made this decision, and then see what that feels like. If that feels better, then that's probably the way to go. You have to trust those feelings. People don't, for the most part. They go, oh, that doesn't count. That's how I feel that way. But trust me, your heart center knows better than the brain, but we need to have that brain part because that's pretty much the basis for most of our decisions.
Yeah.
But we have to see what it feels like. If it feels fantastic, feels sort of good, then I tend to explore that avenue more fully. It isn't necessarily your intuition, but it probably has a lot to do with it. But we like the heart center is, the higher heart is, your soul center. So that's what you're trying to stick with, because the soul is what came here to experience this lifetime, and that's the path it's on, which when we say it's our path, that's the path. The soul needs to experience certain things in this particular lifetime. So you really ought to ask the soul how it feels about those things, because we have free will. Most places in the universe, which is hard for people to think about, do not have free will and 5 senses. So we came to this particular incarnation with the ability to create a ton, because we have these abilities, but it's also a way to screw up a ton, and really quickly as well. So it's important to make sure that when you're making decisions, that you're trying to stay in touch with what the soul came here to experience. I mean, we can deny that. I mean, you can keep forever, the whole lifetime, never meet one expectation the soul had of experiencing in this lifetime. There's nothing, you're not going to get punished for that. It's just...
You're going to do it again?
You're going to do it again. Yeah, well, or something similar, so that the soul gets to experience that. It wouldn't be like repeating, like Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
But, But there's no deadly consequence if we decide not to.
Yeah.
We
won't be smoked for it.
Heck no. Think about it. I mean, eternity is eternity.
Yeah.
We're just in it.
Yeah.
We blink and that's our lifetime.
Right.
So the soul doesn't care. It wants to do this because its whole job as a spark of creation is to experience all these things and then fold back into divine energy and take all that back with them. I mean, that's your purpose as a soul. You get created, you're a spark of that divine, so we're all God, whatever we want to call it. I like divine better because God, I think of an old dude with hair and, going, don't do that. But, however you want to think about source, it is the source of creating soul energy, which is just a piece of that divine energy. So it's coming out here to cruise through whatever it picks up and then goes back. And when you finally reach that pinnacle of development, you fold back in. So it can take a long time in our brain, but it's not terribly awfully long if you're the soul, because you don't have time.
Yeah.
But time is the 4th dimension in our existence. We're physically 3-dimensional world, right?
Right.
And then time is the 4th dimension. But there's plenty other dimensions. We just either sometimes see them or never see them. But yeah, they're there. So paths are important. It's more important to be happy. So whatever path is making you happy, you will get there just fine. Make it yours. Even when we were kids, we used to go home from school and do little religious ceremonies, and crown Mary. We had May crowning, and we had all kinds of little rituals that made your religious life more real to you and more experiential, because religions tend to be external. Everything that's external to you. The Catholic Church does a wonderful job of having ritual. They really do. I'm sure they stole it from all those pagans they they got in the beginning, but hey, ritual is important. I want to make sure people understand that. But it needs to be personal, and it also needs to never become repetitive. Because if you are repeating ritual, it becomes unimportant.
Oh.
You know what I mean? It's like when we go out and do a full moon ritual.
Right.
You know, you have to be enjoying it. You have to be putting your energy into it.
Oh, right.
It has to be something you're personally invested in. If you just go out, light a candle, and go, hey, full moon, and do it every month, it's really not giving you or feeding your soul with any gifts from that particular ritual.
But if I do...
It doesn't hurt anything to do it. It's not going to cause a problem. It's just not going to be as fulfilling.
But if I do my morning ritual, but it is always something I am doing mindfully.
Right.
With, like, my passion.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
Even though it's repeated, it's just, you have to be there.
Correct. You don't want to just repeat things because you have to.
Yeah, we're not doing homework.
Correct. And people, they become habits.
Right.
As opposed to important parts of your day.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know, like I said, it doesn't hurt to do them, but it's not going to have the outcome that it would if you invested your personal energy and thoughts into it.
Yeah.
So we love ritual.
Mm-hmm.
As long as ritual,
we're mindful,
and it remains a ritual,
yes,
not just a habit.
Right.
Yeah. So, but they're very wonderful to help people get connected, because the more we do physically, helps us have an investment, basically, into what's going on. So you can pray or have affirmations. If you also light a candle or burn incense, it's basically just layering on an additional mindfulness to it that will also help you create space. So it's creating that sacred space for you to do your work in. It makes it easier, I think, to fulfill your whatever spiritual goal it is you're trying to achieve. Yeah. It's not required, and many people don't need that. But if you're a person who it becomes just a wonderful addition to your process, then...
If it brings you joy.
Absolutely. Do it. Absolutely do it. We can co-create and manifest with divine energy any way we want. But I think for most people, having a physical manifestation of doing something gives it more power or strength in their world. And that's fine.
Yeah.
I think it works just great. So stay with whatever path you're on today, and if you want to change your mind tomorrow, go for it. If you have questions about your path, feel free. If you're in the area, come on in and we'll be happy to talk to you about it.
Chase joy, lead with love,
Absolutely.
Do no harm.
Do no harm. And definitely love. That, and unconditionally love. It's hard.
Yeah.
Okay? Because we were brought up in a world where if you do this, you get something, or if you do this for me, then I will do something for you.
Right.
We need to just do because it's there to do,
yeah.
not because we're going to get something back from it. And that's the unconditional part. Sometimes it's harder, but we want people to go out and love. Fear is the opposite of love. So if you're feeling fearful, you're not in a loving space. You have to work on that. And we all have those every day. Those moments of, oh my God, what in the world is happening? You know, and today's environment worldwide is a challenge, a big challenge, but we're up to it. We are. So good job.
Yep.
We will see you next time on Enchanted Moments podcast.